What's up, y'all? Boogie Knight here, and strap yourselves in because it's time for another channel update. Now, before I go into the meat of this entry, there is one thing I do want to get across to all of y'all. First of all, I hope everybody's staying safe right now with the disaster that's currently flying around this entire world, and it impacts all of us in some form or fashion. However, for those of y'all who are talking about this on some platform, whether it's YouTube, Twitch, Mixer, whatever, there has been an update regarding people openly talking about it on YouTube. I know from what I've seen, Susan Wojcicki, the president and CEO of YouTube, posted something talking about how videos are essentially becoming demonetized for actually just even using the word of this particular brand disaster. It makes sense because obviously people are doing conspiracy theories, disaster videos, and spreading false knowledge, that kind of thing. So if you want more information about it, Philip DeFranco recently did a bit talking about it, so I'll find the link to his news article about that. I'll put it in the link in the description below. So with that being said, let's actually talk about the future of the Boogie Knight project. Just a couple of small things I do want to get out of the way. The first thing is uploads. I'm still going to be doing the twice a week video uploads for the gaming part of the project. The only difference is instead of being at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time Mondays and Thursdays, they're going to be switched to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Still on Mondays and Thursdays. The reason for that is I was kind of doing some thinking and realizing that while, I've got a decent amount of friends and audience members in Europe, and posting it early in the day does help cater to them kind of in the early/mid-afternoon section. Their timeline, those of my friends, associates, and audience that are further to the west, well, they're still probably going to be asleep or waking up or doing their morning rituals when this video goes live. So by doing it at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, it's still relatively early on the West Coast, but more people might be up and about, and it won't get lost in the shuffle, and it's not going to be too late east of the Prime Meridian. So my friends and colleagues in Europe and further east, for those of y'all who do watch this east of the Prime Meridian, y'all can still do that without being lost in the shuffle. And I'm pretty sure around that time frame, not too many other YouTubers post videos at such and such time for those that do scheduled uploads, such as myself. Now, for the movie review portion of the project, I know I said back in January I was going to be doing 2 to 4 reviews per month. Obviously, since it is now mid-March, that really has taken kind of a back seat. So I do kind of want to make one thing a more concerted effort regarding this part of it, because that's how the project got started, was on movie reviews. I'm not getting sick, I smoke. Let's get that out of the way. Anyway, so I have been doing some more movies, watching them with more guests. Ray and I are getting back into our repertoire with movie reviews, so I will be doing more reviews. I'm going to try and do them twice a month starting in April. I have at least 2 to 3 reviews I need to get done. One of them I'll probably record tonight if I have time. But rather than just kind of throwing it at the walls randomly, I probably will be, and this is once again still kind of in beta testing mode, the first and third Tuesday of every month. The reason I say Tuesday is that's because how Ray and I started doing our reviews was like that, and then Morgues and I, when we have time, obviously with our schedules, we tend to do it on Wednesdays. That gives me 24 to 48 hours to kind of come up with a timeline, what I liked and disliked, and then record it from there. The editing process, I do the same day. So obviously I don't do much editing. I do the intro, I do the outro, I do any kind of transitioning, and I do the audio levels because, well, I'll go into that in a second. So that's kind of the overall update for the YouTube part of the project. Now, I do want to talk briefly about the streaming part of the project. Obviously, I haven't done a stream in probably almost a year now. And I'm not saying I'm giving up on streaming, gosh no, because I loved doing the streaming when I did it regularly back in, I want to say, 2017, 2018. I had a lot of fun doing that. I had a lot of countless friends that popped in, made joking comments, left awesome feedback, and gave me some tips and tricks and whatnot. But brass tacks, my schedule is completely all over the place, for one thing. Secondly, I don't have the best internet reception from where I am. And third, my computer is a complete piece of crap, but I'll talk about that in a second as well. So I'm not giving up on Twitch, I just don't have a definitive time or date when I can get back into that. So I'm focusing more on YouTube because I know I have control over that situation. But that does segue from streaming into my next point. Now, I have been talking a little more actively on that Patreon. I know I haven't done really much regarding rewards for Patreon, and those that actually are patrons, I'm very, very thankful for. Trust me, my gratitude knows no bounds for what y'all have done. But I'm going to be, honestly, a little more aggressive in promoting my Patreon. You've heard this in a myriad of videos about my computer being a complete piece of garbage, how I just talked about it less than 2 minutes ago, but let me just give you the technical facts. My computer is at least 5 years old, probably going on 6 years, and it's definitely getting old. It takes on average 13.5 to 19 minutes from start to finish if I have to turn my computer back on or if I have to reboot it. That ought to say something right then and there, but with the programs I am running on it and stuff like that, I've had numerous crashes, numerous freezes, and I can't any longer attribute them to poor game design because it works for some people, it works for some computers, it's completely, with the exception of games like Inner Friend and Valley, where the crashes happen at specific times, almost calculated times. Other games, even something like simple as a Kristoff game, which I'm kind of just playing for shenanigans' sake, anticipation of his new game, The Welder, coming out, hopefully soon, knock on wood. It's gone from crashes, freezes, things like, more recently, my computer has been BSODing at random times. So I need to get a new computer at some point in the near future. And I'm not asking for people to come out of the woodwork and donate or anything like that, or be like, what's your PayPal account, Boogie Night? Here's blah, 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 blah. I'm not asking for that at all. The reason I'm promoting Patreon more is because this is for people who genuinely like the Boogie Night project and want to see a change and a growth of content, maybe put in some more creativity to it, put in some more games, put in some more movies, that kind of thing. But that takes time, that takes money. Something I'm thinking about as a temporary bandage to try and see how long I can squeeze some more life out of my computer is RAM. I don't know if that's going to work or not, but generally speaking, it might speed up the process. So a decent amount of RAM that would probably work. I mean, it worked on my old computer in the past for about 6 to 7 months, and that might be all I need to kind of tide me over, is between probably $75 to $150. So those that have pledged to my Patreon know that that's exclusively where your money is going towards, is towards the new RAM and eventually a new computer, which hopefully we can get that relatively sometime in 2020. Honestly, I don't know. But I am redoing and revamping the rewards part of my Patreon, alongside not just having access to the private patrons-only Cabal section of the Discord, and starting to do patron-only votes and giveaways. Starting in April or May, depending on the overall outcome, I will be doing patron-only videos, where once a week I will be doing probably an hour to 2 hour long YouTube video that'll be unlisted on my YouTube channel that's exclusive to patrons. And I will be doing patron votes to which game I will be playing, or even if they want to be a little more adventurous, maybe something like you pick a genre and then I roll on that. So that's kind of where it is right now with this whole hardware aspect. I'm really hoping the RAM will at least, like I said, be a temporary fix until I can set aside assets to get a new computer. Because for those of y'all that are in the content creating sector and things like that, y'all know that you need to have a powerful computer, and most powerful computers through iBuyPower or some of the other websites tend to cost upwards of $1,500 to $2,000, and that's just something I don't have. Now, from Patreon, the next thing I do want to talk about is marketing, because, you know, I absolutely love YouTube, and y'all know I've talked about this a million different times in other videos, including interludes, that I am not that good with marketing my brand. Using that term loosely, brand. I have only like 158 subscribers at the time of this recording, and most of my marketing and promotions have been through my Discord channel and through Twitter. And that's good for me, don't get me wrong. But in an effort to grow, I need to be more aggressive with my promoting. I will promote the living crap out of my friends, such as Ray, such as Meowjid, such as Kristoff, such as Deafening Clown, Ravenclaw, things like that. I'm good at that because it's something I'm passionate about. But however, when it comes to me, I really don't feel comfortable doing that other than the bare minimum. Why? Because A, I don't have that much of an ego. It's minimal to say the least. Secondly, because if other content creators who just spam the watch this, do this, pledge this, give me money, why not? Sounds reasonable. If that stuff irritates me, and all these, or as I like to call them, senpai notice me blasts, take that how you will, why would I do that for myself? I would say 90% of the people who watch my channel are legal adults. That is 18 years or older in the United States. And they're going to do what they want. They're going to comment what they want. They're going to like or dislike what they want. It doesn't matter. But, you know, I do need to be a little better with my promoting. So I'm going to ask y'all to do something a little bit for me. If y'all have any tips or tricks or strat ideas that would help me become a better promoter for the Boogie Night Project, let me know. Something that goes beyond retweets, posting to various Discord channels, and that sort of thing. I'd really appreciate your feedback. Just word to the wise, I will not do serial blasts because I find it incredibly annoying and extremely grating. I know a couple people talk about how they worked with promotion coaches. I think my good friend Lexi Kitty has worked with a promo coach in the past and has helped garner and flourish her interests and her passions. But once again, that costs money. That's something I don't have. With that out of the way, a couple more things I do want to broach. Next section would be little kind of bookending these two things together. What's it called? Having a brain fart for a second. The interludes. I know the interlude part of the project has gotten quite a bit of positive feedback. I'd say probably a 99.9% positive feedback on the topics. So with that being said, the interlude part of the project is going to basically take over what used to be the Let's Talk About mini arcs. The Let's Talk Abouts were a lot more in-depth, required a lot more research. I haven't done a Let's Talk About in probably 2+ years, but I did a lot of different kind of solo research, and it took a lot out of me, both time-wise, effort-wise, and emotion-wise. So interludes are a lot easier to do because I can kind of just do expository stream of consciousness while playing Dead Cells and that kind of thing. So I think that's going to be something we stick with. So from that also, the last thing I want to talk about before we're kind of getting down to, as I called, the brass tacks strip down section of this update, Creator Spotlight. I have considered this for a couple of weeks now, and I've talked to Kowoa about it a little bit more in depth, and I'm pretty sure going forward, I'm going to just nix the entire section of Creator Spotlight. I have 1 or 2 more spotlights I need to do for obligatory reasons, but after that, I'm just cutting it off at the pass. The reason I'm doing that is because it started as a passion project. It started about 3+ years ago when I did it as a spotlight for Lady Lilia to try and grow and promote her channel and her projects because it was something I felt really passionate about. And from that, it started springing into other content creators. I know I did one for Gab, Stacey Roy, CJU, Sinvicta, and I've gotten a lot of gratitude from them. But with the positive comes the negative. And I've noticed in the more recent times, the past probably 2 spotlights that I have done, it's gone 1 or 2 approaches. One, other people who I don't tend to actively follow have asked, why haven't you done a spotlight on me? Why don't I do this? You should do this for me because A, B, C, D, and E. Or the relationships that I have established lasted only until I've done the spotlight and then since have gone the way of the dodo. And I want the creator spotlight to be something that I'm continually passionate about, not something that I feel like I need to do just so somebody else gets a pat on the back from this obscure YouTuber that is me. I'm still going to be promoting indie devs because I like doing the underground scene, the independent scene, but I'm doing creator spotlights for indie devs through the games that they play and giving my feedback on them. So that kind of just eliminates other creators. Now, I'm not going to be nixing it completely as a whole. I'll still be doing retweets and maybe promotional tweets about it or stuff on Discord. Go check out this person, go check out that person. But as for 10 to 15 to 20-minute videos describing why I like them, that's just, it's not something I want to continue because I feel like the passion has kind of just crumbled up and died. So with that part out of the way, let's just kind of get down to a more stripped down brass tacks, or as Ray called it, let's be real. Over the next couple of weeks, if not month, you're probably going to see not an elimination of videos because I'm pretty much all done for the month of March as well as a couple of videos for April. Probably some videos are going to seem less than my usual creative, snarky, in-depth kind of thing and more just suboptimal for lack of better wording. And I've talked about this in other videos, and just to let you guys know, I'm not in the greatest of states. It's has nothing to do with this disaster or anything like that. It's just more like a few things that have come to a head, both professionally and personally, and I'm at wit's end, y'all. I was hoping it wouldn't impact my videos, and some people will say that my videos are still awesome, they're still great, and for that, I thank you guys so much. But upon reviewing them myself, it doesn't seem as good as they usually are, and I really do apologize. It's just, without going into details, honestly, it really just kind of feels like, you know, I'm alone in this situation. I have very good friends, a few people, I'd say 2, 3, maybe 4 people that I know that I can call on at any given time, and they'll be more than happy to listen and chat, anything like that. And first of all, I'm not discounting the relationships that I have. I mean, people like Ray and Christoph and a couple other people, I know that I can call on them, and my friendship and gratitude knows no bounds. And I'm not trying to turn this into a pity party or score pity points or throw anybody under the bus. This, once again, like any and all videos, this is just expository, and I'm just trying to get this out in the line. But, you know, long story short, you know, I've pretty much just kept my emotions under lock and key for 30 plus years. You know, I'm 36 years old now. I'm going to be 37 in about another 5 months, I think. Yeah, there we go. 5 months, 10 days. Hooray. And when you give it all out constantly at the drop of a hat, even when you are emotionally hollow, there's still this expectation. And once again, if y'all want to know more, just check out my Sin Eater interlude. That kind of goes into details, but, you know, I've tried to be positive, and, you know, when I'm at work, my brain's clear. Everything's golden. I love it. I can focus on a project, I can focus on a goal, and I know it's going to get accomplished, and I know that I can do it with a clear head and a clear conscience because it is what I am drawn to. However, you know, when I'm by myself, you know, I'm in this constant processing mode, and, you know, when I think that I have a moment to exhale, that I think I'm ready to turn a corner, something goes back and kicks me square in the balls. And it gets old. It gets tiring. And you know, people are probably going to say, well, you know, why don't you get some more sleep? That's the least of my concerns right now is sleeping. It's about kicking this feeling inside of me like I'm essentially on my own, that I don't know how to process something. But the inverse of this whole subject is, in the past, I have just kept it inside. I've internalized it. Now, I'm legitimately angry. And this is kind of scary for me because I'm not used to actually feeling anything other than emotional turmoil and keeping it inside. So it's more now about me trying to process what's going on And once again, I'm not asking for people to suddenly come out of the woodwork and be like, "You're okay? Are you okay? You can talk to me." Because once again, other than just a few people, it's either been flipping the table back to themselves, me being given unsolicited advice, or people do just enough to make me feel okay, and then once again, conversation goes the way of the dodo, and I'm back to square one. So I do want to apologize if my content suffers a little bit from it. I do love making videos. It's just sometimes things don't really go too well. That's kind of why I put Dark Souls not on the back burner per se, but more along the lines because I kind of feel a little overwhelmed and I'm running out of lore for where I am. So it's either I need to speed up the process to get through these areas so I can move on to another area and talk about the lore or things like that. So that's kind of where things are right now. Once again, I'm not asking for y'all to come out and DM me constantly being like, "Are you okay? You can tell me anything." Turn this into like a psychology session or a therapy session. Nor am I asking for people to suddenly just drop their hard-earned money on the project unless it's something you feel strongly about. But I do want to get that out of the way that things are not exactly in the best place for me, and I'm trying to take time to process. And if this makes sense, I'm glad. If it doesn't make sense, probably for the rest of you, trust me, this doesn't make sense for me either because, you know, it just is what it is. So I'm trying to make the best of the hand that I'm dealt, but in the meantime, I hope y'all still enjoy the videos. As always, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And of course, if you have any suggestions for improving content, changes to the project, things that I can do to make things better, please let me know. And as always, I have a Twitter and a public Discord channel, and links to both of those are in the description below, as well as links to my Twitch page for whenever I get back around to doing that. Once again, I don't have a definitive date, but it's there if y'all want to do that, to leave a follow. And of course, there's my Patreon if you want more stuff to know about that. So once again, I hope y'all are having a fantastic day. I hope everybody is staying safe. And until my next upload, I'll catch you on the flip side, all right? Peace.